It all began with the beaming warmth of the sun on my face. It's a feeling you can never mistake. The beams bouncing off, chasing sweat and shadows around your face. I felt its warm reminder, like it was telling me it was here again, urging me to wake up. I kept my eyes closed, taking in the sun's warmth. I felt something on my back, not warm like the sun. It had jagged edges. Wait, it wasn't on me. I was on it. I was on my back, on the ground, face up toward the sun. I slowly cut my eyes open, but I was met with the sun's intrusive and blinding light, forcing my eyes shut, wincing with pain. I needed to get up. But once that thought crossed my clouded mind, I felt another sensation. It felt as if I had jumped into a pit of melted candle wax, then rolled out in the sun to dry. My body ached when I began to think more and more, and my clothes stuck to me head to toe. The air was heavy, and I tasted iron. What was it? I attempted to roll over, but was met only with more immovable pain. My ribs ached at every breath I took. What happened? I panicked. I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't see, couldn't move, and I had the sinking feeling that I was dying. But worse than that, I couldn't call for help. Even if I could, who would come to my rescue? I was alone, vitality fleeing from my bones. One beat at a time, I was fading into darkness, the darkness I had just woken up from. Then I heard it. A voice. Whether I recognized the voice or not, I did recognize the feeling of a hand touching my face. It was a gentle hand. My heart swelled, and I forced my eyes open with the last ounce of strength I had. I had to see it. I had to see her. She was smiling, and though I didn't have the strength to smile, I knew she could tell I was trying. She said something to me in a warm tone and wiped a tear from my face. She knew too I was dying. My eyes closed, her hand still against my face. Cold rushed over me. I was dead. It's a disturbing experience, waking up and not knowing where you are. In most cases, your mind is playing tricks on you, and eventually you remember what brought you to this mysterious place. In my case, I recalled nothing, and yes, I was disturbed. I sat up with a start, but was met with resistance. After much fighting, the restraints of bed sheets and quilts were cast off, and I sat up. The bed creaked at my movement, and I found myself in the presence of a man. He sat in a rugged rocking chair across the room from me. A fireplace crackled with light and heat, casting small shadows across the wrinkles of his face. I wanted to be scared, but his grandfatherly countenance kept me from fight and flight. I wanted to say something, but every time I tried, no words came from my mouth. Instead, I just stared at him with a truly clueless expression. "You're fortunate to have ended up here, my friend," said the silver-haired man. Once again, I was struck with utter wordlessness. He seemed to understand my dire state and continued, "I've just been wondering, by good grace itself, how you didn't die." Die? I thought to myself. There were bandages on my head, various small bandages on my arms, a large wrap around my shoulder, and a splint on my ankle. "You were worse for wear, and it seemed not even the Good Samaritan himself was on the streets to help you. But at least you found me," he said with a slight chuckle. Oozing pain crept over me as I examined my wounds. He continued, "You have no need to worry. You're in good hands." He stood up and walked over to my bedside with an outstretched hand. "Quimby," he said with a smile. "Quimby Tiller." I shook his hand, but realized something worse than not knowing where you are. And that's not knowing your own name. What was it? The best I could work was a faint, pained smile. The man went back over to the hearth and tended to the fire. "It's okay if you can't say much right now, but it would be good to start figuring out what in the blazes got you into such trouble. A log cracked in the fire, and sparks showered the flue of the chimney. I tried again to think of something to say, but once again, nothing. He stood up and shuffled towards the door, and then turned back. "Now listen, I'm going to make you some dinner. Don't go anywhere. It seems you've had enough adventure for now." I managed a gentle nod, and he descended down a creaky set of stairs. I slumped back against the bed. What's wrong with me? I thought. I didn't know where I was. I didn't even know who I was. Do I remember anything? Then an ache swelled in my heart. I felt it. A memory. My hand crept to my face, and I felt a tear on my cheek. Crying, I thought. I was crying? Tears began to stream down my face uncontrollably. I began wiping my eyes profusely, and an image became clearer and clearer in my mind. I knew I was crying for something, for someone. Weeping overtook me. My tired body ached with every sob until I slowly drifted back to sleep.